Hello musicians, this is Corey Taylor from SkilledMusician.com, where we are helping musicians improve. Thank y'all so much for checking out this video today. Now today's video is part of our quick tip series where we take a question that you've asked and try to answer it as quickly as possible but as in-depth as possible. So one question that's come up that several of you all have sent in, like Tifo, HK Beats, and several others through private messaging, was what drills did I use to develop my technique? Well, I'm gonna show you that today. Please note also that I have sheet music in the description box that goes over the drill with proper fingering and everything, so definitely grab that. But let's not waste any more time, let's get started. So how did I develop my technique? Well, truthfully, my technique is still a work in progress. But there were a couple things that really stuck out that really got me started on this journey of developing my technique. And the first was I realized I couldn't play the stuff I wanted to as easily as I wanted to. And the second was I had pain occasionally in my wrists and my arms, in my hands, and I realized what I'm doing is not working. So I went to my teachers and started asking a bunch of questions, and I was introduced to the Taubman technique, originated by Dorothy Taubman, and I'll put links to that. But she kind of originated this idea, her along with the Alexander Technique School, where you're trying to find the least stressful way and most efficient way to play an idea. It completely transformed my approach at the piano. So I was introduced to this whole idea of arm weight. And so instead of playing with your fingers, which is something I did, you play using the weight of your arm, being relaxed all through here. So all through here, this idea. So there's no stress. I used to be real stressed, kind of with shoulders lifted a lot. So if you're playing with that, definitely relax. I learned about rotations, which are these are real exaggerated, but when you play, you do this rotational type deal. So we learned about that. And really just kind of changed my technique. It took me a while to get it, and I'm still working on it, but it definitely has changed my technique for the better. So definitely, I'll put some links to the Galansky Institute, who is now the torchbearer of the Taubman technique, as well as some YouTube videos of them teaching in live sessions where you get to kind of see it and you can kind of see what it is all about. So in order to have great technique, you want to make sure you're not limiting yourself at putting hurdles or obstacles in front of you in order to play the piano. So one thing I used to do, I used to play like this so the keys would be here and my hands would be like this, which is not proper. It should be more like this, that you're straight line into the keys kind of deal. And I used to play like this, sitting really close to the piano with my hands like this, which you don't want your wrist kind of broken like this. So that was a bad technique, and it limited what I was able to do. Shoulder shrug like this, bad technique. I know the guys put elbows out like this. That's not great technique. I even know guys that only use 4 fingers, and a lot of times they'll double the 4th and 5th finger like this, and that's the only way they'll play their 4th or 5th finger is doubled like that. So if you want to experience like the best technique and the most freedom while you play, definitely if you're struggling with any of these things, definitely check out these techniques, because they'll definitely change your playing for the better. So how did I go from having bad technique to improving my technique to where it is today? Well, I really worked at it and really spent time, and most of that time was spent doing one exercise. So I'm going to show you the exercise today, and like this is where the rubber meets the road. This is not for the faint of heart. We're going to really dig down and go to work. So here it is. So I would take the C major scale, and actually before I even got to the scale, I would just play one note. and make sure I was playing it. And all those things I talked about, that the weight of my arm was in each note. My shoulders were relaxed. And every note was placed exactly, my fingers were placed exactly where I wanted them to be. Right? So, and once I got comfortable playing just one note at a time, sure that I was landing it properly, then I jumped into this exercise. Now, this exercise is 4 parts: the C major scale, 1 octave, quarter notes, 2 octaves, eighth notes, 3 octaves, triplets, and 4 octaves, 16th notes. And I started extremely slow. I took my metronome as slow as it could go, like around 40. But today I'm just going to demonstrate at 60. And I think a good measure is take this exercise and start as slow as possible to make sure your technique is right. And then I'd say getting up to around 130 is a great number for musicians. Also, what metronome am I using? So I'm using a metronome on my phone called Pro Metronome by EUM Lab. It's phenomenal. I'm not sponsored by them. I just love their metronome. It allows me to do things like subdivide and speed up tempos over time. It's just phenomenal. So if you're looking for a metronome for your smartphone, definitely check this one out. All right, so I'm going to demonstrate it for you. I'm only going to demonstrate in the key of C, but this exercise I took through every key. So let me just show you how it goes. All right, so that was at 90 beats per minute on the metronome. So I take this drill and do it through all 12 keys all at the same tempo. No stopping, besides just waiting for the metronome to get back on 1. I'm just going through all of them, and say if one day I did it on 60, the next day I would try to increase it to 65, or next day 70, like that. Until I reach my limit, and then kind of back down and try to keep going further. The structure, as far as my practice time was concerned, this technique work was one practice time of its own. I would spend about 45 minutes to an hour just working on this stuff. Outside of my stuff like learning songs or learning repertoire, or working on licks or riffs or runs, that was completely separate from is working on this technique, which was normally about 45 minutes to an hour's worth of continual work. Now, also, let me just say this: while you're doing these exercises, your mind must be like engaged constantly. It just can't be like a mindless, just I'm playing, but really focus on landing each one perfectly. And you can even do phrasing while you play these as you ascend, get louder as you descend, get softer. So one of the cool things that happened was after I got these scales under my fingers, I was able to play lines and execute lines that without much effort, because I put the work in my technique time. So like stuff like, I'll say grooving high. So before we leave this quick tip session, I want to share a video I saw of Rodney East, who is a Chicago legend. He's played for and recorded with everybody from Marvin Sapp, CeCe Winans, R. Kelly, Avery Sunshine, Michelle Williams, the Isley Brothers, Charlie Wilson, just a lot of people. He's a phenomenal musician, and he happened to be doing this challenge, the Twinkle Twinkle Little Star Challenge. And he played it, and in his version, he did this scalar thing in thirds that I thought was really, really cool and really kind of showed, wow, what you can do once you master your scale. So check this out. Okay, so remember, number one, check your technique. See if you're making some of the mistakes I talked about in the video. If so, seek help. Two, so check out the Taubman technique if you need help. It's a great tool and it's helped me tremendously. And three, the drill I gave, practice that every day. And really should set aside a separate time just to practice this drill and work on your technique. And you'll see a vast improvement. So again, my name is Corey Taylor from SkilledMusician.com, where we're helping musicians improve. So hopefully this video has helped you improve. So until the next one, be blessed and happy practicing.